This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, I'm going to try and look at the bright side this morning. Friday, June 6th, it is D-Day. 81 years ago, 400,000 troops stormed the beaches of Normandy and began the road to victory over the Nazis. You know, the Nazis, those guys with masks who are arresting rapists and murderers in Boston right now. We'll get to Michelle Wu, that vile creature. Just disgusting what she said about ICE and the White House, and ICE are not going to take it. They're fighting back. Speaking of fighting back, you know what? Again, I'm going to look at the bright side here. Here's what didn't happen in yesterday's feud, yesterday's battle royale between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, former best friends. Musk didn't call Trump fat. That's a good thing. Trump didn't call Musk a drug addict. He didn't mention ketamine or all the other substances that the New York Times said that Musk is on. So we got that going for us. Could have gotten worse, I think, and it might get worse. And I guess the big question today, and it's a good one, I don't know the answer. Is there any coming back from this? Everybody wants to know, are they going to talk? Are they going to meet? Is Trump going to call Musk? Is Musk going to call Trump? And I hope they do. This was not... it was wild, I'll say that. I was sitting there like everyone else in the world, just staring at X, waiting for the next shot from Elon Musk to Donald Trump. And it got ugly. It escalated quickly. And Musk is scary, I'll say that. That is not an enemy you want. A guy with 200 million followers and $400 billion. And a guy who, as we've seen every step of the way, just doesn't care. He doesn't care what people think of him. He doesn't care, as he said. He's not worried about money. He's not worried about his reputation. He fights. He fights hard and he fights dirty. And right now, he's in a fight with the most powerful man in the world. So you have the most powerful man on one side and the richest guy on the other side. And you just hope this thing fizzles out, and you hope that they can work it out and they repair this damage. And I hope they talk. I hope they sit down. I hope they can sit and laugh about it at some point. But let's be honest. Musk went there. Musk went there quickly. Musk brought up the Epstein files and said flat out that the reason we have not seen the Epstein files is because Trump is implicated. I'm not sure you can hit a guy any further below the belt. I saw this and said, Trump is going to explode. And I'll bet he wanted to. I'll bet he thought about it. But Trump showed restraint. Yes, repeat, Donald Trump showed restraint in a feud, in a fight with somebody else. I don't think we've ever seen that. And as we sit here this morning, Friday morning, Trump still hasn't fired back. He still hasn't brought the level of vitriol to this fight that Musk has. Musk has fought dirtier. Musk has gone places that Trump really hasn't. Bringing up the Epstein files, saying that he agreed with somebody who said Trump should be impeached, and Musk said yes on Twitter yesterday afternoon. Yes, Musk called for the impeachment of Donald Trump, a guy who gave him a golden key to Washington and thanked him for all his hard work on May 30th. That would be 1 week ago. They were in the Oval Office and he gave him the key and they shook hands and he thanked him for all he did. 1 week later, because of the big, beautiful bill and Musk's feeling about the spending and the debt, he wanted him impeached. and he said he was in the Epstein files. Again, can you come back from that? Can you make up after that? I mean, aren't there some fights, some feuds where there's just no coming back? Here's the big bomb. Musk tweeted this out to his 200 million followers at 3:10 yesterday. Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. I saw this and I said, Trump is just going to explode all over social media. He's going to call him a drug addict. He's going to mention something about his personal life. He's going to mention something about his 14 kids. He's going to get down in the dirt, down in the gutter, and he didn't do it. He obviously took his shots at Musk, but he didn't hit him that hard. So Trump knows this is doing nobody any good. Trump knows he has to end this and move on. He has to. Elon Musk isn't just a friend of Trump. Trump's had lots of feuds with lots of people, and he's got over them. He famously feuded with little Marco, and now Marco's the most important guy in his cabinet. He fought with Lion Ted Cruz, and nobody is more supportive of Trump than Ted Cruz. Hell, J.D. Vance called him Hitler 10 years ago, and J.D. Vance is now his vice president. He's fought with lots of people, and he's gotten over it because he's a practical man. Here's the real showdown here. Here's the real battle. It's a battle between a purist and a pragmatist. It's a battle between an ideologue and a practical man. What Trump's trying to do is govern, trying to get a deal done, trying to do the job of the president. Musk has the luxury to be a purist, to be a perfectionist, to be an ideologue who wants to stop spending, the federal spending, wants to bring down the debt, wants to balance the budget. Trump would like to do that too. It's not his top priority. He never campaigned on balancing the budget. Trump didn't cut spending in his first term, and he's cutting spending in this term, but it's not to the extent that Musk is demanding. Musk is pissed off that the Doge cuts haven't been codified. He's pissed off that the tone he has set, that they're going to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse, isn't the top priority in this bill. And Trump can't go there. He can't agree on all of Musk's points because he has to get a bill passed. And he believes the bill is the best he's going to do. And he's probably right, because Democrats are all against anything he does. And he has a very thin majority in the House and the Senate. And there's a bunch of rhinos. You want to know who's to blame for this? The rhinos. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitch McConnell, and the ideologues, the true believers, the Rand Pauls and Thomas Massey. Trump has to herd those cats. He has to bring everybody together and pass a bill. What Musk is demanding is great. We all agree with it. I love what Musk has done for the last 4 months, but it's not practical. It's not realistic. And Musk knows that. He knows you can't pass a bill with massive, you can't return to the spending, the pre-COVID spending, $4.5 trillion bill. He knows you can't do it. Does this bill cut enough? Of course not. Every Republican admits that. But they're trying to bring everyone together and with a very slim majority and a bunch of backstabbing rhinos, get a bill passed, a reconciliation bill. That's what Trump's trying to do. He's a deal maker. Musk isn't a deal maker. Musk's an innovator, an entrepreneur, a risk taker. Musk is an amazing man, and I believe him when he says Trump wouldn't have won without him. I believe that. I believe that we couldn't have won the House without Musk. He says we would have had a slim majority. Republicans would have had a 51-49 majority with him. Without him, he's right. Musk was instrumental. He's the most important surrogate a president has ever had. Between his power and his money and his message, he was absolutely instrumental in the victory in November. There's no exaggerating. There's no overstating his role in this. He gave permission to people to support Trump, people who didn't support Trump the last time, people who were reluctant. He's a former Democrat, an Obama voter who saw the light and said, we can't have 4 more years of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We can't. So he went all in because that's what he does. He doesn't do half measures. He went all in supporting Trump throughout the summer, campaigning for him, donating to him, speaking on his behalf, jumping up and down at these rallies. Again, he put his life on hold, moved to Washington, slept in the office, dug in on all these corrupt bureaucracies, and did God's work. What he did was heroic, and we all should keep that in mind. But he's not happy right now with the direction Trump is going with this big, beautiful bill. As he said, it can be beautiful or it can be big. It can't be both. So you have a battle, an existential battle between the purist and the pragmatist, the guy who dreams big and the guy who makes deals. This was inevitable. We always knew there would be a falling out, and we thought it was amicable. That Musk agreed a week ago to step down to go work at his companies and leave Washington. We didn't expect it to blow up like this. Okay, here's a couple of Trump's responses to the tweets we told you about. Again, Musk said he wouldn't have won without him. I believe that. Musk said Trump's in the Epstein files. That's true. We'll get to that. He's in the Epstein files, but there's no evidence that he went to the island, and there's no evidence that he was, forcing himself on young girls the way there is with Prince Andrew and others. And maybe they will release the files now. We'll find out. Trump was friends with Epstein until 2007, when he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago and ended the relationship because Epstein was hitting on an underage girl at Mar-a-Lago. It ended. He's in the files, but I don't think he's implicated in the sex trafficking. Anyway, he brings that up, which is a really low blow. And Trump responds saying, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. He knew for months I was going to do that, and he just went crazy. And he also writes, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised Biden didn't do it. Musk responds by saying he's going to decommission the Dragon rocket, the rocket that saved the astronauts. And then he backed down a short time later and said he's not decommissioning the rockets. 97% of the satellites now in orbit are from Musk, are from SpaceX. They can't terminate contracts, all the contracts with SpaceX, and they know what they have to get past this. They have to at least reach a truce at some point, because the government needs Musk and Musk needs the government, and the president can't do something that's petty and personal that will cost the country. He just can't, and he knows it. All right, let's get to let's get to the blow up, which I believe this. It turns out, according to Miranda Devine of the New York Post, it all came to a head in the Oval Office because Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, an invaluable member of the cabinet, the guy has been great. He's delivered Trump's message, and he's done it in a low-key, unemotional way. He's a 60-year-old billionaire, a gay guy and smart as hell. And Trump knows that this guy is really, really important. Well, he's feuding with Musk a couple of weeks ago, and it got to the point where Musk literally shoved Scott Bessent in the Oval Office, according to Miranda Devine. Listen to this.
No, it's not at all. And look, it's not terribly surprising. He's a hugely intelligent man with a lot of achievements, but he really is a giant baby. I remember Donald Trump had a sort of paternal relationship with him and said at one point that he said, I don't want to be rude, but he is a bit of a child. And he's acting like a child right now, having a tantrum and lashing out in the nastiest way he possibly can and saying things that he can never undo. And I feel like what really happened was that Daddy, Donald Trump, took sides in an argument he was having with Scott Bessent, which apparently got very willing. Elon Musk shoved Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. There was screaming and shouting and swearing outside the Oval Office, right outside Susie Wiles' office.
Right.
And after that, obviously, Donald Trump had to choose sides, and he chose Scott Bessent's side. And I think that's Elon has just been on a long jag. And now that he's left the White House, I think he's got a bit of PTSD, and he's just finding any which way to get back.
I believe that, because this thing, it couldn't have just been, a disagreement, on policy. It had to reach this point of just emotions boiling over, because that's what happened. Yesterday on X was just a continuation of a tantrum. Musk started this. I mean, again, I love Musk. I love what he's done. I love the role he's played. I love the fact that he has exposed Democrat corruption in the federal government. I think he has woken people up. And I think the job he's done will continue on. At least people will go in with their eyes open and understand that there's just this massive money laundering scheme in DC that we've chronicled every day. That was just spectacular. But what happened yesterday was a tantrum, was, as Miranda Devine said, was a child who just exploded, blew up, and took to Twitter. And I wonder, you have to wonder, does he wake up today? I'm not saying he was drunk, but does he wake up today and say, what the hell was I doing? What was I saying? Because, again, it's going to be hard to come back from that. There's a few other interesting theories about this. Chris Cuomo said Trump restrained himself yesterday because he's plotting a suit. He's going to sue Elon Musk for defamation. I don't believe that, but that's Cuomo's contention. And then there's this from Peter Doocy this morning. He said that the upside here is this will help the big, beautiful bill. This will help because it creates an environment where congressmen and senators have to choose. Hell, everybody has to choose. You see these polls on Twitter everywhere. Whose side do you take? Trump or Musk? And it's fairly close. But congressmen and senators can't choose Musk. They can love Musk like I do. They can respect him. They can appreciate all he's done. But you can't look at the two guys and say, I'm with Musk, I'm voting against the bill. You have to choose Trump if you're a Republican congressman or a Republican senator. Because again, choosing Musk means you don't pass the bill. There's a massive tax hike. There's eventually a government shutdown. There's total chaos in DC. The bill is not perfect. The bill sucks, in fact, but you have to pass it. You have no choice. Again, blame the rhinos, blame the Democrats. But Trump is trying to get something done that he has to get done. And the only way he can do it is make these concessions, is spend too much. Hell, I don't think anyone's going to be happy when we find out there's still money in there for the Green New Scam. We're not going to be happy when they don't make the cuts they promised to make. But Trump can't stand there today and say, blow up the bill. We need to go back to pre-COVID spending. And then you have what? You have no bill. You have chaos in DC. That's not what Trump wants. That's not going to work for him. He's trying to make a deal. And I think Ducey's point that if you're a congressman today and you're whatever on the fence, if you're a senator, if you're Ron Johnson, are you siding with Musk? That means you're blowing up the bill. That means you're not passing Trump's bill, which again is a compromise bill, is a reconciliation bill that is not, it's far from perfect. But how do you go with Musk at this point? How do you go with the guy, who's bringing up the Epstein files and saying he wants to impeach Trump? A Republican can't side with the guy who wants to impeach the president for what? I mean, that's crazier than the first two impeachments. But all right, we got much more to get to on this. We have Trump is just amazing. He is just a friggin' dynamo. Again, he's almost 79. He's up all night. He's dealing with this. He's sitting with the German chancellor. He's tweeting about the economy. He's fighting with Harvard. And at 6:45 this morning, Jonathan Karl from ABC, I don't even know why he has Trump's phone number, but Jonathan Karl, ABC, fake news guy, total Democrat, calls Trump. And normally I'm, criticizing Trump for even talking to people like Jonathan Karl, and Dana Bash too. She called him also. And he answered the phone at 6:45 to talk to Jonathan Karl. He doesn't go on camera, but he took the call because the guy just doesn't stop. Can you imagine Joe Biden taking a call from a reporter, any reporter, even if it's one of these stooges that supported him, at 6:45 in the morning? That's your president. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't stop. It is fascinating. But here's Jonathan Karl talking about the phone call at 6:45 this morning.
You call the president on his cell phone at 6:45, he picks up.
Yeah, he picked up. Look, there's been reporting out there that the White House is working to put together a call between Elon Musk and Donald Trump to broker some kind of peace. I asked Donald Trump about that. He said he's not particularly interested in talking to Elon Musk. He said Elon wants to talk to him. He's not ready to talk to Musk, who he called a man who has lost his mind.
They have a lot of leverage over each other.
Oh, there's no question about that. Look, Elon Musk, obviously the richest man on the planet, the biggest Republican donor in the history of Republican donors.
He's not interested in talking to Musk. That's today. Tomorrow he could. Here's why there's some hope. Again, Trump's a pragmatist. Trump's a deal maker. He has had some of the worst grudges and feuds with people, and he turns around and, picks them for vice president. Names him, puts him in his cabinet, hires them. Megyn Kelly hated her. She hated him. Now she was on the campaign trail for him in October, out there campaigning for the guy that she despised 8-9 years ago. So Trump it's a weird thing. You don't think of him as a guy who doesn't hold a grudge, but he doesn't hold a grudge. If it works for him, and it works for his agenda, his policies, he's going to make up with Musk. He's going to get past that, even though Musk said he should be impeached and said he was in the Epstein files. Trump was, I think, for him, remarkably restrained. He was in the Oval Office with the German chancellor, by the way. Only Trump. He's sitting with the German chancellor, and they ask about D-Day, January 6th, and the German guy says, yeah, it's a big day, 81 years ago. And Trump says, yeah, it was a great day for us. Wasn't such a great day for you, was it? Oh, I laughed out loud. I thought the German guy was going to say, what do you think, I'm a Nazi? I wasn't rooting for Hitler, but he went there because that's what he does. But Trump also talked about Musk and, of course, the big, beautiful bill. Do we have Trump in the Oval Office yesterday talking about this feud that just erupted?
Yeah.
and
it kind of ties into the Scott Besson thing because this is about his black eye.
You know what? Again, this could be a chance for him to say he's on drugs. He could have hinted. And in fact, he told Dana Bash this morning that Musk has problems. And I said, uh-oh, here it comes. But he didn't say, it's that ketamine or ketamine and whatever. He's snorting coke or whatever. He didn't go there. And hopefully he won't. But here he is yesterday talking about Musk.
He's upset. Remember, he was here for a long time. You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is. So you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we're well anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best thing. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is. And again, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest economic development moves anywhere. We've never done anything like it.
Here's a tweet that Musk reposted, an account name called Novel, and people were theorizing that maybe it's one of his burner accounts. And it's pretty simple and straightforward. And Musk retweeted it. It says, Elon's stance is principled. Trump's stance is practical. Tech needs Republicans for the present. Republicans need tech for the future. Drop the tax cuts, cut some pork, and get the bill through. He retweeted that, reposted that, and he doesn't. I mean, I don't know. This drop the tax cut thing is not going to work. That's just not going to happen. But cut some pork and put the bill through, get the bill through, and Musk retweeted it. So that's some hope. Everyone was just reading everything into every single post that Musk had yesterday, and he was reposting people like John Thune and Mike Johnson, who used to be really against, raising the debt limit and spending more, and he would repost their old tweets, and he reposted all of Trump's old tweets when Trump would mention how crazy it is to raise the debt limit and keep overspending. He was retweeting those from 10 years ago. Is this more from Trump on Musk?
Yep, this is more directed at the big beautiful bill.
This is the whole point here. Trump's trying to keep his eye on the ball. He desperately wants this bill to pass. He desperately wants him to get through the Senate and sign it and get the tax cuts and get the border. And you know what? I go back and forth. When I'm feeling, idealistic, I say we have to stop the spending. But then when you're feeling practical, you're saying this might be the best we can do. Stephen Miller is making the case for this bill better than anyone on Twitter all day. And he points out it's the most conservative bill you're ever going to get. It funds the wall. It funds ICE. It cuts Medicaid fraud, kicks able-bodied people off Medicaid, kicks illegal aliens off Medicaid. That's why the Democrats are fighting so hard against it, because they want to continue to give free health care to illegal aliens. So on principle, that's a pretty big win. Does it cut enough? Of course not. Again, the question is can it pass? Could a bill that Musk approves pass? And I think the answer is no. Here's Trump on the Musk and the big, beautiful bill.
I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have we want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, he became a little bit different, and I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody, and he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next.
That was next.
I'm very disappointed in Elon.
That was next. He said that before Musk went with the Epstein files. And he's right about one thing, that Musk knew what was in the bill. Musk knows everything. Musk is a brilliant man. But I don't think the EV mandate thing is what set him off. He's on record as saying, repeal the EV mandates. I don't need them. And I believe that. He's just pissed on principle that these frauds in the House who talked a good game about cutting spending and cutting, USAID and just going all in on cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, they didn't do it in the end. They supported him, for the last 4 months, but then when it came time to write the bill, they were a little squishy, and that set him off. He doesn't like that. He's a man of action. He's not a man of compromise. He's not a politician. He's a lot of great things, but he sure ain't no politician, and he never will be.
Good.
He just can't imagine being, getting down in the swamp and making deals and, pandering and taking care of your home district with some wasteful project. He saw the sausage being made and it pissed him off. And again, Bessent's the pragmatist. Bessent's trying to get a deal done like Trump. And Musk is the ideologue. He's the purist. And he's saying, you're stabbing me in the back. After all we did with Doge, you're going to shiv me and spend like it. You're going to spend it Biden levels. That's what they're doing. And it's pissing them off. All right. One last thing. Trump, according to reports this morning, Trump's selling his Tesla. That Trump Tesla is beautiful. The red model, I forget what it's called, Model S Plaid, the one that went out in front of the White House. Trump doesn't drive it, but Carolyn Levitt drives it and other people drive it. It's at the White House, but according to reports today, Trump is selling it. He doesn't want a Tesla anymore. So we'll see. Today, all eyes are on X. All eyes are on the White House. Will they make up? I have my doubts. I'm not sure how you make up with a guy. Again, one last thing on the Epstein files. Trump's in them, but he's not in the island. There was no victim who claimed that Trump was participating in the deviant behavior on the island or was trafficking young women. Ghislaine Maxwell never implicated Trump. The woman who just killed herself, Geoffrey, or whatever her name, she never implicated Trump. And maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it'll force them to release the files. We know Trump's name is in them because he was friends in Palm Beach with Epstein. They broke it off. He kicked them out of Mar-a-Lago. He was disgusted by Epstein. That was almost 20 years ago. Epstein killed himself 6 years ago. A lot of stuff going on between then and when Epstein finally, killed himself. But maybe that's another good thing to come out of this. It'll force them to release the Epstein file. The question I had and everyone else had is if Trump were really implicated, why didn't the Biden regime release them? I mean, they tried to put him in prison for life. They tried to bankrupt him. They shot him. Why wouldn't Trump's enemies have insisted they release the files if indeed it implicated Trump during the campaign? They could have released them and really hurt Trump, but they didn't. So I am skeptical about that, but we will see. It's going to get crazier. You can be sure of that. I think Musk has shown that he is not a man of restraint, not a man prone to restraint. So if he's still pissed today, he's going to keep tweeting and posting, and eventually he's going to speak out on this. Hopefully he will be, hopefully cooler heads will prevail, but we shall see. I don't think the impeach Trump movement is going to have legs. Hopefully not. All right, we got much more to get to on this Friday. Oh my God. On this D-Day, 81 years ago today. Amazing. Yeah, that's when we beat the Nazis. And now we have a mayor in Boston who's calling these heroic ICE agents Nazis. This is disgusting, and the White House and ICE are firing back. This woman is despicable. I don't know how anyone, even my craziest left-wing neighbor, could ever vote for this awful woman again. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Another volatile day on Wall Street? If the ups and downs of the market have you worried about your retirement, you're not alone. At SecureMyRetirement.com, we help you take control with strategies designed to protect what you've built. We create guaranteed income streams, protect your principal, and help you grow your savings without risking it all to market swings. If the market is up, your investments grow. If the market is down, you lose nothing. No more sleepless nights watching your 401k take a hit. It's time for steady, smart, and secure planning, built for today's uncertain economy. Visit securemyretirement.com and find out how to retire with confidence, no matter what the market does. Securemyretirement.com. Safe, smart, secure. Securemyretirement.com. Securemyretirement.com. Safe, smart, secure.
Well, I'm like everyone else, sitting here with my phone, clicking on the Elon Musk avatar, which is just a black circle now. Nothing. He's tweeting about Tesla plants in Germany produced our 8 millionth vehicle at Giga Berlin. So he's back at work at Tesla. That's a good thing. The stock took a hit yesterday. It'll be back as usual. And he's tweeting about government spending and the debt limit and strapping our kids with, this 37, soon to be 40, 45, $50 trillion debt, which is really the reason he threw the tantrum. But we'll be keeping an eye on that, like everyone else. Like hundreds of millions of people right now are sitting with their phones. What is Musk going to say next? Man, what power? That couldn't happen a generation ago. This is a phenomenon in 2025 where one man just has the attention of half the world right now. The stock market and trade and tariffs and everything is just kind of feels like it's hanging in the balance, but it is just a wild time to be alive. And it certainly is in Boston. In Massachusetts, this showdown between elected Democrats, the mayor, the governor, and ICE, it's gone from just frustrating to just sickening. We are governed by the worst people in the world. We certainly talk about it every day. Liz Warren, Ed Markey, just awful, despicable people. Ayanna Pressley and Catherine Clark. Mayor Wu is the worst. She's the worst of the worst. I know I'll probably change my mind tomorrow and talk about whatever, Liz Warren. But this awful person, first of all, she's not from Boston. She's a carpetbagger from Chicago who went to Harvard. She was a protege of Liz Warren. Big shock there. She's a racist. She doesn't hire white people or promote white people. She still lives and dies with DEI. She's a terrible administrator. The financial district is barren, and she wants to raise taxes. Just has made traffic so much worse with bike lanes, and she wastes millions of taxpayer money on stupid green projects, which are going to change the weather. Electric school buses, which are just a waste, setting taxpayer money's on fire. But this is a new low. We've talked about it for years now, that this has become a sanctuary for the worst people, just scum, killers, drug dealers, rapists, child rapists. Tom Homan went down the list. He had like a list of 8 different child sex predators who were hiding in Boston, and they came to get him. They've spent May all over Massachusetts rounding up real hardened criminals. Oh, and one 18-year-old who was on his way to volleyball practice, which is the only illegal alien the Boston Globe and the rest of the local media seemed to notice. They didn't spend a lot of time worrying about, let me get his name again. I keep forgetting his name. Lorenzo, whatever, is the guy who we've told you about. He raped his own 8-year-old daughter, and he's in custody now. ICE came and got him. He was released into the community after raping his own 8-year-old daughter, and it's more horrific than even we can get into. He blindfolded her. He videotaped it. He's just pure evil, the face of evil. And he was released into the community. And if Mayor Wu had her way, he'd still be free. He'd still be out there. That girl would not be safe. So ICE, to me, is doing what we all want, any decent person wants. They are getting really bad people out of the community, real gang members, killers. They arrested almost 1,500 illegal aliens in the month of May, and that was a great thing. And this vile creature, Michelle Wu, is upset. She wanted those murderers and rapists in her community, in our community. I don't know how this doesn't piss off everybody. Why does this not bother everybody? Are you, if you're a Democrat, if you're blue state, you live in a blue state, how can you support somebody who wanted to protect a guy who raped his own 8-year-old daughter, wanted to protect drug dealers, wanted to protect killers, gang members? She still wants to. She's pissed that they've removed these people from our community. Real bad people. And she's comparing ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who are going into neighborhoods and finding these people and making the neighborhoods safer. We've seen the rabble who's out there protesting and trying to stop them and tipping off murderers, which is what they did in Somerville, tipping off a murderer so he could escape from ICE. She supports that. She supports that. And she has the gall to compare them to Nazis because they wear masks. They're wearing masks, again, because people like Michelle Wu want to dox them, because the Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, said he was going to dox them, which means their foot soldiers, their Antifa foot soldiers can find them and hurt them or maybe even kill them. And prominent Democrats are encouraging the doxing of these heroic agents. Here is this disgusting person, Mayor Wu, comparing ICE agents to Nazis yesterday, one day before D-Day. Go ahead.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify, are you comparing ICE, you said, to NSC 131, a neo-Nazi group? Are you comparing them to a neo-Nazi group?
What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that I know of at the local level routinely wears masks.
So the follow-up is, reporter lady, is why do you think they're wearing masks? Why do you think they're trying to hide their identity? Because people like this want to hurt them. An ICE agent's going to get hurt. An ICE agent might even get killed. And blood will be on her hands, on Hakeem Jeffries' hands. These disgusting people know what ICE is doing is something they desperately need, that people want, that people applaud and cheer for. And yet they want to identify them, dox them, hurt them, stop them. And she compares them to a neo-Nazi group. Well, Boston police don't wear masks because no one's doxing them, because no one's trying to kill them. By the way, just a reminder, I looked this up. Her mask mandate was one of the most draconian in the country. They literally mandated that you had to wear masks everywhere. In restaurants, they mandated that you had to wear a mask unless you were actively eating. They mandated that if you sat at the bar, you had to wear a mask between sips of your beer. This was one of the most fanatical mask nuts out there. And now she's saying, oh, you're wearing a mask? You're a Nazi. Well, I was hoping, ICE would come out and say, hey, lady, we're just afraid of long COVID, and just mock her. But they didn't. They fired back, though. Todd Lyons, the head of ICE, he's a Boston guy, as you can tell when he talks. But he was pissed off, as well he should be. And so was the White House. Here's Todd Lyons, ICE director and Boston guy.
It's outright disgusting. What Mayor Wu said is completely disgusting. She actually compared us to a neo-Nazi group. And here I am on January 6th, where many of the men of ICE, brave men and women that were veterans, on the day, great day in military history when we defeated the Germans and the Nazi Party, we have elected officials comparing the brave men and women of law enforcement to Nazis. It's completely disgusting. And I've said it before, to the mayor and to the congressman, I'm a victim of that doxing. Last administration, I had mass protesters show up at my house at 3 a.m. coming from other states because my name and address got leaked. So I know what the men and women of ICE go through every day. So while they may not like it, what the men and women of ICE are doing in Massachusetts and all over this country is making communities safer. And under Secretary Noem, she is giving us her vision and her leadership to go out there and make these communities safer. And that's what ICE is doing. So to call us Nazis, to compare us to one of the worst groups in history is disgusting and just outright wrong.
The White House came out with a statement saying the same thing, disgusting. The White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson said in a press release, quote, President Trump is keeping his promise to the American people to deport illegal aliens. It's disturbing that Democrats like Mayor Wu would side with illegal immigrants over Americans and stoke hatred against American law enforcement. Are you proud of that, Democrats? Are you proud of this mayor who was elected, who was running for re-election, by the way? And I can't believe anybody, unless you're a freaking criminal, unless you're an anarchist, unless you're some Antifa scum, how could you support this vile woman? It just, I mean, I was in an event where she was speaking recently. Of course, she bought her prop, her baby. It was a veterans event. How do these veterans not stand up and turn their backs on her? And I saw Josh Kraft, who's running against her. Josh Kraft, Bob Kraft's son, is running against her. And I support him. He's a liberal. He doesn't support ICE. I tweeted at him. I said, it's time. It's time for you to come out, oppose this woman, and support these heroes who are cleaning up neighborhoods. And he won't do it. They're all just such panderers. They're just afraid. They're afraid to offend the Boston Globe or the teachers union or some other radical left-wing group. It's disgusting. How about you stand with citizens? How do you stand with law-abiding citizens? How about that for an idea? Oh, good. We got some comments. I'll get to the comments. I got one more thing we got to get to. This is in the New York Post this morning, and it made me laugh out loud. As we know, Karine Jean-Pierre is no longer a Democrat. She's an independent. Yes, this is a woman who used to work for MoveOn.org. She's as radical leftist as you can get, and she claims she's an independent. And that's the title of her book. And I look forward to the book. I'm pretty sure there'll be stuff in there that'll shake things up in D.C., but she's got a problem. Usually the press secretary, especially one who was there for a couple of years and is a Democrat, can get a job in the media immediately, like Jen Psaki did. Normally, you know, it's kind of a way to get in the media, make big money, become, you know, one of these fake news media guys. She can't do it because she's too dumb and she's too bad at her job. She thought she wanted, her goal when they lost in November was to get on The View. New York Post says former White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre reportedly hoped to be a co-host of The View after leaving the Biden administration. The former Biden spokesperson wanted a seat at the table on the liberal ABC News talk show. Politico reported her predecessor, Jen Psaki, has a primetime hosting gig on MSNBC. So she thought when she left the White House, they were just going to find a seat for her on The View. And you know what? I don't blame her. She fits in perfectly. She's dumb. She's not well read. She's not prepared. She just spews liberal talking points. She just kisses Biden's ass and attacks Trump. She's perfect for The View. Why not? Plus, she checks a bunch of boxes. They like that too. Maybe she's not heavy enough. They prefer their little girth on their hosts, but there's still time, Corinne. I mean, Joy Behar's like 80 years old. I think just wait your turn. You might get on there eventually, but we'll see. One more thing. James Comer is doing his job. House Oversight Committee chairman is sending a subpoena to former White House doctor and Biden business partner, Kevin O'Connor, who didn't want to come in for a voluntary interview. So they're subpoenaing. He's going to have to testify about all the lies he's told about Joe Biden's cognitive decline and mental condition. All right, before we go on this Friday, Ironhead tells me we have some comments. Oh, Connie says, I voted for Trump, not Elon. I heard that a lot. You know what, Connie? I voted for both of them. Obviously, Trump is president. Trump's name was on the ballot, and I voted for him. But Elon was a big part of it. You can't take that away from him. Again, if you have to choose one, obviously you choose Trump. You choose the president. You're not going to choose a private citizen, even though he is Elon Musk. If you have to pick, you pick Trump. Simple. I agree, Jerry, says Robin, but I'm so thankful for what Elon has done. Please don't fall in the left's hands because they're the ones who are loving this. I don't think there's any chance that Musk returns to the Democrat Party. I don't think that's going to happen. He tweeted about creating a third party. which he knows that's a waste of time. I'm sure it got a lot of likes and people say, oh, yeah, let's do it. Let's have a third party. I think it's more than the bill that's causing Musk's hissy fit. I think that's the biggest part of it, but there are some personal feuds like with Bessent. I believe that. Is Musk tantrum going to change one thing Trump does from this day forward? Yes. I mean, he was, as he said, he did a lot for Musk, and Musk did a lot for him. I think he's going to sell his Tesla, and he's not going to make a big deal about the rockets when the SpaceX rockets go to space. He's not going to show up for the takeoff and the launches, and he's not going to talk about all the great things Musk has done. Breaking, says Alan, Vladimir Putin has offered to negotiate a peace deal between Trump and Musk. I heard that Zelensky was going to do that. Musk didn't like the last omnibus bill either. Johnson had to delete 142 pages before it was passed. Good. I want Musk to still be involved. Logic asks, where can I get a Doge hat? I'm sticking with it. I'm a loyal Doge guy. What do you think? Amazon. That's where you get everything, right? Is this a scam? Says Subtle S. Is this a scam? Lots of people had that theory. I'm sure Ironhead believes in that because he believes in every conspiracy theory. You think this is
the Democrat Twitter account immediately was like, release the files. That could have been the problem,
Well, that will be wild if this forces them to release the files. And they mentioned Trump was on Epstein's plane 7 times, mostly from Palm Beach to New York. They were friendly, but that was a long time ago, and there's no evidence he went to the island or raped anybody. If they release the files, we will tip our Doge cap to Elon Musk for that. But let's be honest, it's been 2 months since Pam Bondi said, we're going to see them all, and they're disgusting and sick, she said. She's seen them, and we're going to see them. Well, what are we waiting for? Either release them or tell us why you can't. It's time. It's long past time. My thoughts, Antonio says, my thoughts on the Trump-Musk fallout is that I bet they both thought the other would be a useful idiot. I don't know about idiot, but they were on the same page. Here's what Musk knew: we couldn't afford 4 more years of Biden, Kamala, and the Democrats. He knew we couldn't have another 20 million illegal aliens in this country. He knew we had to have someone in there to try to stop the foreign wars, close the border, do something about crime, and do something about institutional racism. He agreed with Trump's policies, and he still does. He's not going to the dark side, no chance. He's going to lash out. He's going to be frustrated because, again, he's not like these swamp creatures. He's the opposite. He's a doer. He's an innovator. He's an entrepreneur, a risk taker. He can't relate to them, and that's the thing. He's not like Trump. Trump's a sales guy, a schmoozer. Musk is this aspy, straight shooter who doesn't, to me, he's refreshingly honest. I don't think he lies about anything. It's like not in his makeup. He just blurts out things that are sometimes inappropriate. That's what some people with Asperger's, that's what they do. But we'll see where it goes from here. I don't want to say I'm enjoying it, but it is fascinating. It feels like a important time in history, and I'm going to be.
Musk is guaranteeing that Twitter is going to be mentioned in the next history.
True.
book.
The value of Twitter. I know he overpaid for it. I think he made a good investment. Let's not forget. That's a good point. He saved free speech. That's like the most important thing he's done. He's going to go to Mars, and I don't think that's more important than what he did for free speech. If he didn't buy Twitter, Trump wouldn't have been elected. He didn't even mention that. They'd still be banning people, like all the people, Robert Kennedy Jr., Marty McCary, they'd still be banned. You'd still have podcasts being taken down and people being kicked off all the platforms for questioning, Dr. Fauci or Rachel Levine. He did a great, great service for this country, for this world, when he saved free speech by buying Twitter and open it up. And now it's the #1 news source, and now it's bigger than ever. And just another good investment by Elon Musk. So good for him. I'm going to go check out the price of Trump's Tesla that he's selling. Something tells me it's going to get a pretty big price. Like Trump, like everything else, Trump will probably do a TV commercial about it and sell it for like $1 million as a collector's item. They'll stamp Trump's name on it, and someone will buy it.
100%.
There's no way someone's going to get a good deal on that. I'm still looking though. If you see it, I want a good Tesla from a liberal that's disgusted. Can they stop keying them now? Is that another positive development here? Are they going to stop keying Teslas and blowing up dealerships because Musk turned on Trump? Hey, we'll see. We'll find out. But anyway, that'll do it for today and for this week. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we'll do it again Monday morning.
I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway, even if the governor ran, the real governor, not the governor from Minnesota, he's a sick puppy, that guy. That poor guy, I feel sorry for him. But they made a bad choice with him.